we all need to be better at breathing.
All right, I'll sign on to this topic.
We're back. It's the Harley and Malarkey show.
It is Harley and Malarkey, old dog,
New
tricks.
Old dog. Old dog. You're the old dog today.
Okay.
New tricks.
All right. I don't know what we're talking about. I asked, and he said it's going to be a surprise.
I thought it'd be more fun if we just sprung a subject up. So, the most essential small things in life are so often forgotten and overlooked. And we all look at the big picture. We all want the big things. And we forget that the foundation is all based on the smallest little things. And so today I wanted to speak about breathing.
That's the one thing that I said I didn't want to talk about today.
And that's
why he said, I'm going to surprise you, which means we're going to talk about what I want to talk about anyways.
I'm just wondering if we can actually just do a memorable, informative conversation about breathing.
Maybe we could just sit here for 20 minutes and breathe into the microphone.
No, I don't think so. I've never done that in my life. And that's because I can't breathe right.
Yeah, that's true.
And so listen, the first thing that happens to you in life is you take a breath.
Yeah.
The life force is breath.
Yes.
Meditation is breath. Exercise is breath. And how many people, if they just took a moment and focused on their breathing, could change their lives? And I'm telling you this.
You, number one person here.
Number one person that needs to do it is me. And I have an example I'll get to in a minute here. But the idea is that smokers, some studies have said that smoking is literally people just wanting that moment to inhale, to breathe, to relax. Now, yes, you're inhaling.
Makes me want to breathe now.
You're inhaling the nicotine and everything else, but to go outside and have a cigarette, to have that moment where you set aside, is really somebody going, I want to calm down. I want to just take a moment. And that is all done with breath. If I could learn to breathe, I would be happier. I would be healthier. I would be more patient and more understanding. And so some people, I have to put things in relevance to cooking. Some people forget to put salt on stuff, right? That is the number one most basic ingredient, is salt. If I was on a deserted island, the first thing I would do is harvest the ocean for salt. So when I caught my fish, I would put salt on it.
I'll give an example of how I feel you go throughout your life without breathing. But you are always like, I need to do the next thing. I need to do more. I need to do more. I felt like I haven't done enough today. I feel like a loser because I haven't done enough today. But at the end of the day, it's like he really needs to take a deep breath, literally, and metaphorically, because it's like, well, what are you chasing? And I think that that's a question that a lot of people need to ask themselves, because it's like we all feel this need to be busy and accomplish things at the end of the day. But why? Like, what are we looking to achieve? And I think a lot of times we think that by doing all these things, we are going to achieve happiness and peace. But really, if that's not the state that you're performing all of these, duties in your life in with happiness and peace, you're never going to arrive there. And so I think the breath is both a literal practice and a metaphorical practice of like, are you taking a deep breath in your life, and are you clear on where you're going and why?
I listen to these podcasts and I read articles and I hear all of these things, and everybody's talking about, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what's...
When was the last time you listened to a podcast?
I'm just acting like I listen to podcasts. Okay. I don't listen to podcasts. I don't watch myself on TV, but I do eat at my own restaurants. I need to break it down to the most basic things, and that is literally breathing. When my kids are mad, angry, I'm like, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I obviously need to hear that also, but really focus on breathing. Meditation starts with breathing. All, athletics get you to a breathing point. My meditation is, because I don't have the patience to meditate often, is I go for a run. And what does that do? It lets me breathe. It lets me get to a different place in my mind, and my heart, and my soul by taking a simple breath.
Yes. And I think ultimately what the breath is for is centering you and grounding you into the present moment. And I think that that's ultimately where we are all trying to get, or maybe we're not trying to get there consciously, but that's kind of the solution for a lot of our problems, because a lot of us are living in the past, and people say when you're living in the past, you're kind of living in depression, or people are living in the future, and when you're living in the future, you're living in anxiety. But if you can really ground yourself in the present moment and be aware of everything that's around you, be aware of all the blessings and things that you have in your life, then maybe you feel more of this sense of peace and you're not constantly chasing.
It's worth a try. And I think in these developed societies, and there's so many things going on and so many distractions, there's so much coming at us all at the same time, through our social medias, through everything is so stimulating that we're all kind of jolted and we're all held together tight.
Yeah, we're all kind of holding our
breath. Why do you want to go on vacation? To slow down, to breathe, to sit on a beach. That's why I want to go on vacation.
Yeah, but as we learned on our just most recent vacation, that if you don't know how to breathe in your regular life, you're going to have a hard time breathing on vacation too.
Yes, I get anxiety on vacation feeling like, oh my God, I don't have time to relax. I need to get back to my work. I need to get back to chef's life and the TVs and this and the restaurants and development and books and writing and this. And I am bringing this subject up because I need to be one of the biggest students of this subject.
So my question to you is, what are some ideas you have for how you're going to start incorporating more breath into your life?
So you like to walk all the time.
Yes.
Walking to me is almost nails on a chalkboard because I'm like, how can you just slow down and take that much time to yourself? I've been walking more with you. Right? We walk with the dog. We walk together. It's better time for conversation. We're trying to get my daughter to walk, who's having a little bit of anxiety right now. And really taking those times and letting myself know that it doesn't all happen today. It happens when it's supposed to happen. And if you've put yourself in the right position, it will happen. And I have this example, and this is why I wanted to bring it up, was we just did a big event with Guy Fieri, right? I say his name wrong all the time. Guy Fieri, Guy Ferrari. All right?
I like that one.
Ferrari. So we were with Guy. And Carlos and I, Chef Carlos and I, are emceeing this event. And we've got our microphone, and there's like 300 people there. It's a tequila. He has Santos tequila. And we're doing this tequila tournament of cocktails. And Carlos and I are always yelling and hyped up and really excited. And the mic is cutting out because our voices are too loud. We're like, habadoo. And now Guy is the OG in my profession of emceeing events and running TV shows and stuff like that. He grabs this mic and he delivers slowly, in a talking voice, more presence and more power than Carlos and I yapping and yelling and hyperventilating ourselves over here. And it just made me think, like, damn it, I am a student of life.
Yes.
And I'm failing this right here because he's more present, more powerful, and delivering a better message because he's breathing and talking and not just yelling and yapping like I am known to do.
I feel like the metaphor might be like a 15-year-old boy like having sex for the first time. Just exploding, whereas, a more seasoned veteran, they're in touch with their body, they're breathing, they're feeling the moment, they're reading the energy.
I have learned to be that man in our lovemaking, but early on, I don't necessarily think I was that man either because
I think sometimes you pretended, but I think you still spend a lot of time in your head.
I do spend a lot of time in my head.
Yeah.
I'm always having sex with you in my head.
You asshole.
No, but you just...
What? You're a dick. So you're just there thinking of other women while we're having sex?
No. Sometimes I'm playing baseball. Sometimes I'm playing basketball. So some men have to change their train of thought sometimes when they're getting very close to climaxing. So it goes in different directions, okay? And I do not honestly think of other women. I was just being more of the average man. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get myself out of that one, aren't I?
I'm not buying it, but...
No, honestly, you're like a I'm so present. This is new. This is good stuff here. This is real. I have not fantasized of other women in the bedroom in this relationship, but in previous relationships, 100%. That is a go-to thing for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of other men. It's a big hot topic.
I agree.
I don't consciously go to other places in my brain when I'm having sex.
It happens. It happens to me too.
But I do. That is where I do need to, and this is great because this, believe it or not, comes down to breathing. If I stop breathing and I'm not in the moment, I will go other places. I will go, what am I need to do? What was I thinking about this? What is going on with that, right?
Yeah.
And so what I've learned with our relationship is when we're engaged in sex, I have to tell myself and remind myself, is there any place you would rather be right now? Is there something you would rather be doing? And the answer is overwhelmingly no. I love this. I love the way it feels. I love the way you smell. I love the way I touch you. I want to be present, but I am still not fixed. I will still pop out of my head, you know?
Yeah. And I don't think anyone is ever fixed unless you're like, a guru kind of thing. Everybody's always going to have to be bringing their mind and their bodies back to the present moment. But something that I did tell you recently that I've observed about you is that you need to be more embodied. And what I mean by that is that you live your life pretty much from the neck up. Like you're always thinking, and it's part of what makes you very successful. But that mind is always, always going. And I used to be that way too. It's actually really a common symptom of having gone through trauma because we learn to feel that our bodies aren't safe, and not necessarily going through physical trauma, but just learning as a child that you're not safe in your body. And so we learn to leave our bodies and dissociate from our bodies. And therefore we're just always in our head.
And a huge reason also that I had such a massive problem with alcohol, like I still crave alcohol. I used to smoke cigarettes and I still crave them. And the reason I want them is to get out of my head. And that's why this subject was so important for me to talk to, because I can get out of my head and get into my presence with one simple thing.
Yeah.
The most essential thing to our lives. The answer is the easiest thing in the world. We all need to be better at breathing.
All right, I'll sign on to this topic.
We're done.
If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share with a friend, subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. Follow us at Harley and Malarkey Podcast on Instagram and send us a message to let us know what you want to hear next or have us answer your question on an upcoming episode. Tune in next week for more Old Dog New Tricks. Thank you for listening.